If someone had told me a lie about an engagement would end with a billionaire's hand finding mine for Rachel, I would have sworn I was immune. Some mistakes last 5 seconds but can wreck 5 years of calm. Maya Hart knew that, had always known it. Still, stranded in the crush of a rooftop bar with Logan, the ex-boyfriend turned obsessive misstep, bearing down like a storm front, she made a split-second choice to lie. Not a small lie. A full-tilt, irreversible, world-shattering lie. I'm engaged, she said evenly, lifting the bare ring finger of her left hand as if it were proof. Logan's eyebrow arched, smug and unshaken, like he could scent the desperation seeping from her skin. Oh, really? His voice oozed condescension. To who? Maya's mind sprinted. Bodies pressed in, the music pounded, and every exit seemed to seal. Then, summoned by fate, chaos, or sheer cruel irony, a voice behind her answered with lethal calm. Me? The voice was female, cold, certain, dangerous. Maya turned around slowly, heart hammering so loud it overpowered the bass of the music. And there she was, dark suit, crimson lipstick, black silk shirt, unbuttoned just enough to be suggestive without being obvious. The kind of woman who walked like she owned the planet and probably did. Everyone in the city knew who she was, even people who pretended not to. Celeste Morrow, CEO of Morrow International, billionaire, untouchable, rumored heartbreaker, publicly private, openly gay, unapologetically ruthless. Hey, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and drop a like to help us grow even more. And let me know in the comments on a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give this story so far? Your feedback makes all the difference. And somehow, inexplicably, standing there with one hand, sliding possessively onto the small of Maya's back like she belonged there. Maya blinked. She forgot how to breathe. Celeste didn't. She leaned in, voice low and lethal, but her mouth curved into the most dangerous smirk Maya had ever seen. Play along, she whispered, warm breath ghosting against her ear. Or I'll let him take you. Maya didn't hesitate. She curled an arm around Celeste's waist and laughed like she meant it, tilting her head in mock affection. Sweetheart, she purred. You're late. Celeste's fingers pressed tighter against her spine in approval. Logan looked stunned, then annoyed, then outright pissed. You're engaged to her, he demanded. Since when? Since none of your business, Celeste said. All silk and steel. She turned to Maya. Ready to go? Maya nodded, too stunned to think clearly. And just like that, Celeste took her hand, laced their fingers, and walked them both away from the crowd, from Logan, confusion, from Maya's rapidly imploding night. They didn't speak until they were in the elevator, and even then, the silence was electric. Maya's heart hadn't calmed. Her palm still burned where Celeste had touched it. Finally, Maya turned. Why did you do that? Celeste didn't look at her. She stared straight ahead, jaw tight. You looked like you needed saving. I did, but Maya frowned. Why you? Celeste turned then, gaze sharp as glass. Because I hate men who corner women like prey. And because I happen to be there, next time lie better. Maya crossed her arms. There won't be a next time. Celeste arched a brow. Good, because the city thinks you're engaged to me now. Maya laughed half nervous. Nobody believes gossip in this town. Celeste's expression didn't change, except when it comes from me. I own the building. I own the PR firm that just got the footage. I own the tabloids they'll send it to. If I don't deny it, the whole world will believe it. The elevator doors opened. Celeste stepped out, then looked back. I suggest you come with me before it hits the news. Maya stood frozen. Everything in her life had just changed in 3 minutes. And yet somehow she followed, because somewhere deep down past the panic and adrenaline, there was one undeniable truth pulsing like a war drum beneath her skin. She wanted to know what it felt like to belong to Celeste Morrow. Even if it started as a lie, even if it ended with her heart in ruins. Maya sat on the leather couch, hands curled into fists in her lap. As the city's skyline glittered like 1,000 knowing eyes beyond the wall of glass behind her, she wasn't sure what was more surreal. The fact that she was inside Celeste Morrow's penthouse, or that the woman herself was pouring her a glass of whiskey like this was the most normal Tuesday night in the world. You didn't have to bring me here, Maya said finally, voice tight. I could have just gone home. Celeste glanced over her shoulder, one brow raised. And walk into a headline storm alone. She walked toward her, heels clicking softly on the marble floor, and handed her the glass. You're trending. Maya blinked. Excuse me. Celeste sat across from her, legs crossed, perfectly composed in that way that made Maya feel messy by comparison. Someone recorded it. Us. The ringless engagement. Your ex's face. My hand on your back. The kiss that almost happened. Maya flushed hot. That wasn't a kiss. No, Celeste said, sipping her drink with maddening calm, but it looked like one. She picked up the remote and turned on the enormous flat screen across the room. Instantly, Maya saw herself, eyes wide, lips parted, pressed up against Celeste's side like she was something precious. The clip played on a loop, each repeat digging the line deeper. Jesus Christ, Maya whispered. They really believe it. They believe everything if I don't deny it, Celeste said again. And I don't plan to. Maya's gaze snapped to her. Why? Celeste didn't look away. Because it benefits me, too. How? Maya asked, half defensive, half curious. Celeste rose and walked toward the windows, looking out over the city like a queen surveying her empire. My board has been pushing for a more relatable public image. Less cold, more human, engaged is perfect. Romantic softens the edges. So, I'm your emotional support peasant. Maya muttered. Celeste smirked. You're funny. I'm serious. So am I, Celeste said, turning to face her. This helps me. And whether you like it or not, it protects you for now. Maya stood. This isn't sustainable. No, Celeste agreed. But it's useful. And if we play it right, we can both get what we need out of it. What I need is to disappear. Maya snapped. This isn't my world. I'm a graphic designer who rents a studio apartment with a leaky ceiling and no hot water half the time. I don't belong here. Celeste crossed the room slowly, each step deliberate, calculated. You belong the second you made eye contact with me. Maya's breath caught. That's not fair. What's not fair? Celeste said, now inches away, voice lower. Is the way you looked at me like you'd let me ruin you before you even knew my name. Maya wanted to deny it. She wanted to run, but her body stayed frozen, hypnotized by the closeness, the intensity, the raw fire burning in Celeste's eyes. Why are you doing this? She asked, barely audible. Celeste reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind Maya's ear. Because you interest me? You don't know me. Not yet. Maya's heart was trying to escape her chest. And what if I say no? Celeste tilted her head. Then you can walk out that door and let the media devour you with questions, threats, and speculations. Or you can stay just for now. Stay and pretend to be your fiancé. Stay and be safe. Stay and figure it out. Stay and see what this could become. Maya shook her head, overwhelmed. This was supposed to be a lie. Celeste's voice dropped to a whisper. Sometimes lies show us what we've been too afraid to want. The silence stretched. Maya didn't move. Couldn't. Finally, she let out a long trembling breath. Fine, she said. I'll play along, but only until this dies down. Celeste smiled slowly, predatorily. Of course. Maya wasn't sure which part was scarier, the lie itself, or how much she already hated the idea of it ending. Maya woke up to the soft vibration of her phone on the nightstand. For a brief second, disoriented and warm under the silken sheets, she forgot where she was. Then her eyes landed on the floor-to-ceiling windows, on the view of the skyline. Too perfect, too high, too powerful. Celeste Marlowe's penthouse. Last night, the lie. The deal. She sat up with a jolt, running a hand through her tangled hair, only to find a neatly folded set of clothes resting on the chaise near the bed. A soft cream blouse. Perfectly cut black slacks. A delicate pair of earrings, and heels suspiciously close to her size. On top of the blouse sat a note. Wear this. We're having lunch with my board. Maya stared. For 10 full seconds, her brain stalled. Then she breathed, what the actual hell? 15 minutes later, wrapped in someone else's polish, she stood before the mirror in Celeste's guest room, searching her reflection for an exit plan. Her phone buzzed again, this time a headline: Billionaire CEO Celeste Marlowe announces surprise engagement. Fiancé identified as designer Maya Hart. Her stomach plunged. They'd used her full name, her full photo, even tagged her barely active Instagram. Notifications detonated, comments, DMs, follow requests. She barely had time to process when Celeste's voice came from the doorway. You clean up well. Maya spun. Celeste leaned on the frame, fresh coffee in hand, amusement flickering in her eyes. Today, slate gray trousers, a soft ivory blouse tucked just so, hair up, red lips. Maya's throat went dry. You told them my name. They would have found it anyway, Celeste said, stepping in. Better to control the narrative. You posted it on your own account. I did. Why? Because if I didn't, people would assume worse. They'd think you were a paid actress, or that I was hiding something. You are hiding something. The truth. Celeste halted in front of her. Not everything is about truth, Maya. It's about perception. And right now, the world perceives us as in love. And you're fine with that? Maya snapped. Walking around holding hands with a stranger. I don't think you're a stranger anymore, Celeste said more quietly. Not after last night. Maya hated the way her pulse answered, the slight lean forward like her body recognized Celeste first. What do you want from me? Celeste met her gaze heat-in. I want you to come to lunch. Sit beside me. Smile. Tell my board how we met. Touch my hand when you laugh. You want me to perform? I want you to be convincing. And what do I get? Celeste hesitated, then handed her the coffee. For starters, a raise. Maya blinked. You don't even know where I work. You freelance, underpaid, overworked, and one viral video away from becoming a meme. I did my research. Jesus, you deserve better. I can give it to you, but I need you to play the part just for today. Maya sipped the coffee, grateful and furious. You're terrifying. You know that? Celeste's smile was unapologetic. That's why they believe I own you. Maya's spine stiffened. You don't. Not yet. The words hung there, heavy and uninvited. Maya walked past her, brushing against her shoulder a second too long. Let's get this over with. The boardroom on the top floor of Marlowe International was a sleek, intimidating temple of power. 12 directors, glass walls, enough money in one room to fund a small country. Celeste entered first, cool and composed, and everyone rose. Maya followed, heel silent on polished stone, heart pounding in her throat. Celeste pulled out a chair for her. Maya sat. Cameras flashed. Someone from PR introduced her. Maya smiled on cue, forced and poised until the words felt foreign in her mouth. So Maya, one of the board members said, an older woman with sharp eyes and sharper jewelry. How did you and Celeste meet? Maya opened her mouth, paused, then glanced sideways. Celeste nodded once, sleep permission. Trust. We met at a bar, Maya began. It wasn't romantic. Not at first. I was dealing with a situation and she stepped in chivalrous. The woman said amused. Very. She pretended to be my fiancé. Chuckles around the table. And when did pretending stop? Maya hesitated again. Her hands under the table curled into fists. She looked at Celeste, expecting cold calculation. But what she found instead was something terrifyingly close to pride. So Maya answered without breaking eye contact. It hasn't silence, then laughter. Someone clapped. Celeste reached under the table and touched her knee. It was brief. Electric. Maya nearly jumped. After the meeting, as they walked back to the elevator, Maya couldn't hold it in. You liked that, didn't you? Celeste's expression didn't change. You were brilliant. I was lying. You told a better story than I could have. Maya stared at her, breath catching. You're enjoying this too much. Are you not? Maya didn't answer. She stepped into the elevator. Celeste followed. The doors closed. The silence crackled. Maya turned to face her. You keep touching me. You don't stop me. Maybe I should. Celeste stepped closer. Then do it. Maya's breath hitched. Their faces were inches apart now. The tension stretched between them like a string pulled too tight. One more lie. One more glance. One more second. And they might actually break the one rule they never said out loud. Don't make this real. The elevator chimed. The spell shattered. Celeste stepped back. Dinner tonight, she said simply. You'll need something nicer to wear. I'll have something delivered. And then she was gone, leaving Maya alone with a racing heart and the sinking suspicion that whatever this was, it wasn't just a lie anymore. Maya hadn't expected the dress to fit perfectly. She hadn't expected the box to arrive less than an hour after Celeste left. She definitely hadn't expected it to be custom, tailored to her measurements with a handwritten card that simply said, "Wear this tonight." No arguments. It was a sleek black slip dress, the kind that hugged curves and whispered sin. She stared at it for 10 minutes before daring to touch it. And when she finally slipped it on, when she saw herself in the mirror, neck bare, shoulders soft, the fabric like a second skin, her first thought was, she's trying to kill me. Her second, I kind of want her. 2. The car arrived at precisely 7. Sleek, black, silent. A driver in a crisp suit opened the door with a small nod. Maya climbed in, palms sweating, heart racing. She hadn't spoken to Celeste all day, hadn't texted or called, hadn't replied to the photo the woman had sent earlier, a preview of the rooftop restaurant they were apparently attending. The caption had said, "Bring your appetite." Maya wasn't sure if it referred to the food or something else entirely. When she arrived, Celeste was already waiting. And God help her, she looked devastating. Midnight blue silk, hair in waves, diamond earrings that sparkled like they were flirting with the moon. But it was her eyes, dark, unreadable, focused entirely on Maya, that made her knees feel like water. "You clean up dangerously well," Celeste said as she offered her hand. Maya took it. Her skin was warm. "You keep saying that. Should I be worried?" Celeste's lips curled into something between a smile and a warning. "Only if you plan to keep pretending you don't enjoy this." They were seated on a private terrace lit by strings of soft gold light and candles that flickered with every breeze. The table was set for 2, but Maya felt like the entire city was watching them from below. "We're really doing this," she murmured, looking around. Celeste poured them both wine. "We have to. Half my board is watching from that table over there." Maya froze, then looked where Celeste had nodded discreetly. Sure enough, 3 impeccably dressed people were seated just far enough to be polite, but close enough to see everything. "So, this is still part of the game. This is the spotlight." Maya, smile. "I'm not a performer. You're doing just fine." Maya sipped her wine, trying not to think about how exposed she felt. She hadn't signed up for this. Public appearances, expensive clothes, being looked at like she belonged in Celeste's world. And yet, when Celeste reached across the table and took her hand, Maya didn't pull away. Her thumb brushed gently over Maya's skin. A calculated move, a display, but it didn't feel fake. It felt like heat blooming under the surface of something carefully contained. "Why me?" Maya asked suddenly, voice low. "You could have picked anyone to fake this with. Someone from your world. Someone who knows how to play along without freaking out." Celeste looked at her for a long time. Then quietly, "Because you didn't try to impress me. You weren't afraid to challenge me. And when I touched you, you didn't flinch. You burned." Maya swallowed. "You don't know me. I want to." The answer came fast. Too fast. And it caught both of them off guard. For a second, something unguarded flickered in Celeste's eyes. Vulnerability. No. Maya couldn't trust that. Not yet. "This is dangerous." Maya whispered. "Only if you keep pretending you're immune to me." Celeste leaned in slightly. "Are you?" Maya looked away, but her fingers tightened around Celeste's. "What happens if I stop pretending?" Celeste smiled slowly, as if savoring the question. "Then things get interesting." The rest of the dinner was a blur. Exquisite food, soft laughter, touches that lingered too long. And yet, the moment that burned itself into Maya's memory came later when they were in the elevator again, rising toward Celeste's penthouse. They stood side by side, close but not touching, tension thick between them. Then, just before the doors opened, Celeste said softly, "You don't have to go back to the guest room tonight." Maya turned to her. "What?" "Stay in my room. No expectations. Just stay." Maya should have said, "No." She should have reminded Celeste that this was a business arrangement, a charade, a necessary evil. But instead, she said, "Okay." The penthouse was quiet when they entered. Celeste didn't lead her to the guest room. She led her into a bedroom that looked like a magazine cover. Warm lighting, deep tones, silk and velvet. "You can sleep on the left," Celeste said, already undoing her earrings in the mirror. Maya stood frozen. "You do this often. Invite fake fiancés to share my bed." Celeste smirked. "First time?" Maya laughed a little too breathless. "Is this part of the image?" "No," Celeste said without turning around. "This part is just for me." Maya's pulse thundered. She crossed the room slowly, deliberately. When she reached Celeste, she took the earrings gently from her hand and set them on the dresser. Their eyes met in the mirror. "I don't know what I'm doing," Maya whispered. Celeste turned to face her fully. "Then, let me show you." Their lips didn't meet. Not yet. but the air between them shifted closer. Hutter charged. Maya stepped back just before the edge tipped. "Good night," she said, voice trembling. And then she climbed into the bed, Celeste's bed, and lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering when exactly the lie stopped being a lie. Maya didn't sleep. Not really. She lay in Celeste's bed on the left side, like instructed, wrapped in soft sheets that smelled faintly of expensive perfume and something sharper, more intimate. Celeste sent, and the silence between them stretched like wire, too tense, too quiet, filled with everything neither of them dared to say. Celeste hadn't touched her once, not when they turned off the lights, not when Maya shifted restlessly. She kept her distance physically. Emotionally, that was another story. Because even with 3 feet between them, Maya felt her presence like fire licking at her spine. At some point, close to dawn, Maya slipped out of bed. She padded barefoot across the penthouse, trying not to think about how absurd her life had become. She stood by the glass wall overlooking the city, arms crossed over her chest, heart a thunderstorm. The lights below blinked like stars. The skyline was endless. And she felt small. So small. Behind her, she heard soft footsteps. She didn't turn. "Couldn't sleep either?" she asked. Celeste's voice was quiet. "No." A beat of silence. "You always run when things get too close." Maya closed her eyes. "You always push people just to see if they'll break." Celeste didn't answer. She stepped up beside her. Both of them staring into the night. "I didn't plan this," Maya whispered. "I didn't ask to be part of your game. It stopped being a game the second you stopped flinching when I touched you. That's not fair, isn't it?" Maya turned to face her. "Someone from your world. Someone who knows how to play along without freaking out." Celeste looked at her for a long time. Then quietly, "Because you didn't try to impress me. You weren't afraid to challenge me. And when I touched you, you didn't flinch. You burned." Maya swallowed. "You don't know me." "I want to." The answer came fast. Too fast. And it caught both of them off guard. For a second, something unguarded flickered in Celeste's eyes. Vulnerability. No. Maya couldn't trust that. Not yet. "This is dangerous," Maya whispered. "Only if you keep pretending you're immune to me." Celeste leaned in slightly. "Are you?" Maya looked away, but her fingers tightened around Celeste's. "What happens if I stop pretending?" Celeste smiled slowly, as if savoring the question. "Then things get interesting." The rest of the dinner was a blur. Exquisite food, soft laughter, touches that lingered too long. And yet, the moment that burned itself into Maya's memory came later when they were in the elevator again, rising toward Celeste's penthouse. They stood side by side, close but not touching, tension thick between them. Then, just before the doors opened, Celeste said softly, "You don't have to go back to the guest room tonight." Maya turned to her. "What?" "Stay in my room. No expectations. Just stay." Maya should have said, "No." She should have reminded Celeste that this was a business arrangement, a charade, a necessary evil. But instead, she said, "Okay." The penthouse was quiet when they entered. Celeste didn't lead her to the guest room. She led her into a bedroom that looked like a magazine cover. Warm lighting, deep tones, silk and velvet. "You can sleep on the left," Celeste said, already undoing her earrings in the mirror. Maya stood frozen. "You do this often. Invite fake fiancés to share my bed." Celeste smirked. "First time?" Maya laughed a little too breathless. "Is this part of the image?" "No," Celeste said without turning around. "This part is just for me." Maya's pulse thundered. She crossed the room slowly, deliberately. When she reached Celeste, she took the earrings gently from her hand and set them on the dresser. Their eyes met in the mirror. "I don't know what I'm doing," Maya whispered. Celeste turned to face her fully. "Then, let me show you." Their lips didn't meet. Not yet. But the air between them shifted closer. Hutter charged. Maya stepped back just before the edge tipped. "Good night," she said, voice trembling. And then she climbed into the bed, Celeste's bed, and lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering when exactly the lie stopped being a lie. Maya didn't sleep. Not really. She lay in Celeste's bed on the left side, like instructed, wrapped in soft sheets that smelled faintly of expensive perfume and something sharper, more intimate. Celeste sent, and the silence between them stretched like wire, too tense, too quiet, filled with everything neither of them dared to say. Celeste hadn't touched her once, not when they turned off the lights, not when Maya shifted restlessly. She kept her distance physically. Emotionally, that was another story. Because even with 3 feet between them, Maya felt her presence like fire licking at her spine. At some point, close to dawn, Maya slipped out of bed. She padded barefoot across the penthouse, trying not to think about how absurd her life had become. She stood by the glass wall overlooking the city, arms crossed over her chest, heart a thunderstorm. The lights below blinked like stars. The skyline was endless. And she felt small. So small. Behind her, she heard soft footsteps. She didn't turn. Couldn't sleep either? She asked. Celeste's voice was quiet. No. A beat of silence. You always run when things get too close. Maya closed her eyes. You always push people just to see if they'll break. Celeste didn't answer. She stepped up beside her. Both of them staring into the night. I didn't plan this, Maya whispered. I didn't ask to be part of your game. It stopped being a game the second you stopped flinching when I touched you. That's not fair, isn't it? Maya turned to face her. Someone from your world. Someone who knows how to play along without freaking out. Celeste looked at her for a long time. Then quietly, because you didn't try to impress me. You weren't afraid to challenge me. And when I touched you, you didn't flinch. You burned. Maya swallowed. You don't know me. I want to. The answer came fast. Too fast. And it caught both of them off guard. For a second, something unguarded flickered in Celeste's eyes. Vulnerability. No. Maya couldn't trust that. Not yet. This is dangerous. Maya whispered. Only if you keep pretending you're immune to me. Celeste leaned in slightly. Are you? Maya looked away, but her fingers tightened around Celeste's. What happens if I stop pretending? Celeste smiled slowly, as if savoring the question. Then things get interesting. The rest of the dinner was a blur. Exquisite food, soft laughter, touches that lingered too long. And yet, the moment that burned itself into Maya's memory came later when they were in the elevator again, rising toward Celeste's penthouse. They stood side by side, close but not touching, tension thick between them. Then, just before the doors opened, Celeste said softly, You don't have to go back to the guest room tonight. Maya turned to her. What? Stay in my room. No expectations. Just stay. Maya should have said, no. She should have reminded Celeste that this was a business arrangement, a charade, a necessary evil. But instead, she said, okay. The penthouse was quiet when they entered. Celeste didn't lead her to the guest room. She led her into a bedroom that looked like a magazine cover. Warm lighting, deep tones, silk and velvet. You can sleep on the left, Celeste said, already undoing her earrings in the mirror. Maya stood frozen. You do this often. Invite fake fiancés to share my bed. Celeste smirked. First time? Maya laughed a little too breathless. Is this part of the image? No, Celeste said without turning around. This part is just for me. Maya's pulse thundered. She crossed the room slowly, deliberately. When she reached Celeste, she took the earrings gently from her hand and set them on the dresser. Their eyes met in the mirror. I don't know what I'm doing, Maya whispered. Celeste turned to face her fully. Then, let me show you. Their lips didn't meet. Not yet. But the air between them shifted closer. Hutter charged. Maya stepped back just before the edge tipped. Good night, she said, voice trembling. And then she climbed into the bed, Celeste's bed, and lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering when exactly the lie stopped being a lie. Maya didn't sleep. Not really. She lay in Celeste's bed on the left side, like instructed, wrapped in soft sheets that smelled faintly of expensive perfume and something sharper, more intimate. Celeste sent, and the silence between them stretched like wire, too tense, too quiet, filled with everything neither of them dared to say. Celeste hadn't touched her once, not when they turned off the lights, not when Maya shifted restlessly. She kept her distance physically. Emotionally, that was another story. Because even with 3 feet between them, Maya felt her presence like fire licking at her spine. At some point, close to dawn, Maya slipped out of bed. She padded barefoot across the penthouse, trying not to think about how absurd her life had become. She stood by the glass wall overlooking the city, arms crossed over her chest, heart a thunderstorm. The lights below blinked like stars. The skyline was endless. And she felt small. So small. Behind her, she heard soft footsteps. She didn't turn. Couldn't sleep either? She asked. Celeste's voice was quiet. No. A beat of silence. You always run when things get too close. Maya closed her eyes. You always push people just to see if they'll break. Celeste didn't answer. She stepped up beside her. Both of them staring into the night. I didn't plan this, Maya whispered. I didn't ask to be part of your game. It stopped being a game the second you stopped flinching when I touched you. That's not fair, isn't it? Maya turned to face her. And when Maya pulled away and whispered, "You're mine, too," she had meant it. God help her, she'd meant every word. By dawn, sunlight knifed through the penthouse's glass walls. Barefoot in the kitchen, wrapped in one of Celeste's oversized button-downs. A coffee mug cupped between her hands. Maya stared at her phone as her follower count rocketed upward. Mentions. Headlines. Speculation. Billionaire CEO kisses fiancé at gala, confirmation or performance. Maya Hart, the mystery woman behind Celeste Marlowe's heart. From bar to ballroom, inside the year's whirlwind romance. She set the phone down, queasy. This wasn't her world. She'd said so from the start, but now she was in it, neck deep, drowning, and the water was rising. Footsteps behind her. Celeste entered like a shadow, quiet, composed, dangerously beautiful. Damp hair from the shower. Suit pressed to perfection. Face unreadable. Maya didn't speak. She didn't need to. Celeste was already holding up her phone. We're everywhere? Maya nodded. I saw. Celeste placed the phone on the counter and moved to the window, surveying the skyline. The board is thrilled. Stock jumped. PR is calling it the most humanizing moment of my career. You kissed me like it was a press release, Maya snapped. Celeste turned sharply. That's not what I said. But it's what it sounds like. I kissed you because I wanted to, Celeste said evenly. But now that it's out there, we have to control it. Maya folded her arms. You kissed me in front of everyone. You didn't ask. You didn't check in. You just decided. I don't ask permission to protect what's mine. I'm not yours. Celeste blinked, and for the first time since they'd met, she looked stunned. Not angry. Not smug. Just stunned. Maya's voice gentled. I know this started as a lie. I agreed to play the part. I knew exactly what I was stepping into. But that kiss, she shook her head. That wasn't in the script. It wasn't scripted for me either. Celeste's voice was quiet now, vulnerable. Then why do I feel like a pawn in a game? I don't understand, Maya asked. Why does everything you do feel like a move on a chessboard? Because that's how I survive, Celeste said, stepping closer. That's how I've built everything I have. Control, strategy, power. Without it, I lose everything. Maya looked up at her. And me? You are supposed to be a distraction, Celeste whispered. But you've become the only thing I can't control. The words landed between them like a confession. Maya's chest tightened. Then maybe it's time to stop trying. Celeste exhaled shakily like she hated how right that sounded, but she didn't respond. Instead, her phone buzzed again. She checked it, her expression darkening. What is it? Maya asked. You're getting interview requests. Jules and Vogue. Vanity Fair. Me? They want your story. How we met. How I proposed. They want us. Maya blinked. I can't do that. I'm not built for this. Then we say, no, I'll handle it. Like you handled everything else. Like the kiss. Celeste's jaw tensed. Maya, I just need space. Maya said, a minute to breathe, to think. Celeste looked like she wanted to argue, but then slowly she nodded. Okay. Maya walked past her, out of the kitchen, out of the penthouse. She didn't take a driver. She walked. The streets were loud, chaotic, full of life that didn't care about billionaires or fake engagements or kisses that weren't supposed to mean anything, but somehow meant everything. She found herself in a park sitting on a bench surrounded by strangers. She watched couples walk by, real ones, laughing, touching, arguing. She felt hollow and full and confused. Her phone buzzed. It was a message not from Celeste, from Clara. Celeste canceled her meetings for the day. She's not herself. Maya stared at the screen, fingers trembling. She should have felt victorious, like she'd finally gotten under Celeste's skin. But instead, it made her ache because for the first time, the woman who controlled everything had lost control over her. And Maya wasn't sure what to do with that power. Not yet. Maya stood in front of the penthouse door, staring at the sleek black surface like it might swallow her whole. Her hand hovered over the panel, hesitating, trembling. She hadn't planned to come back. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But after hours of walking, after scrolling through 1,000 versions of herself on social media, after sitting in silence with her own thoughts screaming inside her chest, she had realized something both terrifying and inevitable. She missed her. Not the headlines. Not the silk sheets or designer gowns or the fake life they'd built. Just her, Celeste. The woman who kissed her like she meant it. The woman who for one breathless second looked like she would fall apart if Maya stepped away. She pressed the intercom. No response. She tried again. Nothing. Her thumb hovered over the keypad. Then she tried the code Celeste had entered so many times. 0905, the door clicked open. Maya stepped inside slowly, unsure of what she expected. The penthouse was dark, not empty, just dim, quiet, like the silence after a storm. She heard the faint clink of glass. Followed it, found Celeste barefoot in the living room, still in the black blouse from earlier, sleeves rolled up, hair pulled loose like she'd run her hands through it too many times. She sat on the floor, not the couch, a tumbler of whiskey in her hand, a full bottle beside her. Maya froze. Celeste looked up. No mask, no armor, just eyes red-rimmed, face bare, mouth parted like she'd been holding back something too big to contain. "I didn't think you'd come back," Celeste said softly. "I almost didn't." Maya crossed the room slowly, her heels clicking against a marble, sharp in the quiet. "But I couldn't stop thinking about the way you looked at me when I walked out, like you'd already lost me." Celeste let out a hollow laugh. "That's because I had." Maya sat down across from her, closed but not touching. "You can lead your meetings." "I couldn't think straight." "That's not like you." "No." Celeste agreed, looking down into her glass. "It's not." Maya tilted her head. "Why me?" Celeste met her eyes, and for the first time since they met, she looked young, not polished, not powerful, just a woman unraveling. "Because you don't need me. You challenge me. You make me forget who I'm supposed to be. And for once, I wanted something I couldn't buy or control or predict." Maya's throat tightened. "You don't let people see this side of you because if they do, they'll know I'm human and I don't know how to survive like that." Maya reached out slowly and took the glass from her hand, set it aside. Then, without speaking, she shifted forward and wrapped her arms around Celeste. Not seductively, not with an agenda, just held her. Celeste froze at first, then melted. Her arms came around Maya's waist like she'd been waiting years to do it. Her head dropped to her shoulder. And for a long time, they stayed like that, entangled on the cold marble floor, breathing in sync, holding on like the world might tear them apart if they let go. "I thought I was protecting you," Celeste whispered. "But I think I was protecting myself." "From what?" Maya asked. "From wanting you too much." Maya closed her eyes. "It's too late for that." Celeste pulled back just enough to look at her. "Is it?" "Yes," Maya said, voice steady. "Because I'm not leaving again. Not tonight." Celeste's hands tightened on her back. "Say that again." Maya leaned in, forehead pressed against hers. "I'm not leaving. Even if this isn't just a lie anymore, especially because it's not." Celeste kissed her again, but this time it wasn't wild or public or strategic. It was slow, tender, desperate in its honesty. Maya kissed her back like she was anchoring herself to something real for the first time in months. They didn't make love that night. They didn't need to. The intimacy came in whispers. In the way Celeste held Maya's hand when they finally moved to the bed. In the way Maya curled into her side like she belonged there. In the way silence didn't feel empty between them anymore. Before falling asleep, Celeste murmured into her hair. "This is going to get harder. I know people will want more proof." "Let them watch," Maya whispered. "I'm not afraid of being yours." Celeste kissed her temple. "And I'm terrified of being yours." But she held her tighter anyway. The morning after felt different. Not because of the sunlight flooding into the penthouse, or the quiet warmth of the sheets, or even the way Maya woke up with her head resting on Celeste's shoulder. Her body curved perfectly against the woman she'd once thought of as untouchable. It felt different because for the first time, it wasn't a performance. There were no board members to impress, no cameras, no carefully curated appearances. Just Celeste, still half asleep, arm draped possessively around her waist, face softened in the glow of something real. Maya watched her for a moment, feeling a strange kind of peace settle in her chest. But peace never lasted long in Celeste Marlowe's world, not even for a morning. Her phone buzzed once, then again, then relentlessly. Celeste groaned and reached for it. Her brows furrowed. "What is it?" Maya asked. Celeste sat up slowly, scrolling. "We're trending again." Maya rubbed her eyes. "What now?" Celeste didn't answer immediately. Instead, she handed Maya the phone. On the screen was a headline. "Celeste Marlowe and fiancé to give first public interview tonight." Maya blinked. "I didn't agree to that." Celeste stood already heading toward the closet. "I was going to tell you this morning. PR thinks it's the perfect time to shift the narrative. Reinforce the engagement. Address the kiss. Humanize me further." Maya's heart began to pound. "You scheduled a live interview. Pre-recorded. Controlled. No surprises. And when were you going to ask me?" Celeste paused mid-step. "I wasn't." "Wow." Maya got out of bed slowly, anger bubbling. "You really don't know how to stop doing this, do you?" "Doing what?" "Making decisions for both of us like I'm some puppet in your empire." Celeste turned, eyes sharp. "I'm protecting us." "No, you're protecting yourself, your image, your company, your narrative. You didn't even ask me how I felt about going on camera telling the world our story because I knew you'd say no." "Exactly. And you still did it anyway." The room crackled with tension. Celeste stepped closer. "Maya, this is how things work. If we want to survive this, we have to control the narrative. If we disappear now, they'll assume it was a stunt. The damage to my name." "To your name," Maya interrupted. "Not to us because clearly this has always been about you." That landed like a slap. Celeste froze. Maya grabbed her clothes from the chair, dressing quickly. "Cancel the interview." "I can't." "Then I won't show." "Maya." Celeste's voice softened, but her control was fraying. "Please." Maya looked at her, truly looked at the woman she'd kissed in front of the world. The woman who had held her like she meant it. The woman who made her feel like more than just collateral. "I'm not a pawn, Celeste. And if you keep treating me like one, you'll lose me. Not the fake fiancé. Me." She walked out again. This time it hurt more. Hours passed. Celeste didn't call. Maya didn't expect her to. She knew Celeste well enough now to understand that silence was her shield, her way of keeping the world out until she could reassert control. But something about this silence felt heavier, more dangerous. She paced in her tiny apartment, phone in hand, heart in her throat. Then it buzzed. A single message from Clara. She went ahead with the interview alone. Maya turned on the TV just in time to see Celeste sitting across from a primly dressed journalist. Cameras rolling, lights glowing, and for the first time, Celeste looked wrong, distant, cold, like she was performing again. "Miss Marlowe," the journalist said, "there's been much speculation about your engagement. Some have called it calculated, others romantic. What do you say to those who question the legitimacy of your relationship?" Celeste didn't flinch. "I say they don't know what they're talking about." "And your fiancé?" "Maya is unlike anyone I've ever known. She grounds me, challenges me, makes me feel." She hesitated just for a second. "Alive." "Then where is she tonight?" Celeste's jaw tightened. She needed space. Space or distance. "It's not your business." Maya's heart twisted. The anchor smiled politely. "You understand the optics, of course. A sudden engagement, a high-profile kiss, and now separation. Some people think it was all a publicity stunt." Celeste looked directly into the camera. "Then those people don't understand what it means to fall in love when you least expect it, and how terrifying it is to want someone who sees past everything you've built to protect yourself." Maya's breath caught. "So, is it real?" the anchor asked. A long pause. Celeste's eyes flickered with something raw, unpolished. "Yes, too real." Maya's phone slipped from her fingers. She barely heard it hit the floor. Maya didn't realize she was crying until the tears hit the collar of her shirt. She sat on the floor of her apartment, knees pulled to her chest, heart pounding in her ears. Celeste's voice echoed in her head over and over again. "Then those people don't understand what it means to fall in love when you least expect it, and how terrifying it is to want someone who sees past everything you've built to protect yourself." She hadn't said it for the cameras. "Not really." Maya had seen enough of Celeste's controlled persona to know when the woman was performing and when she was bleeding. That interview had been a confession, not perfect, not poetic, but real. And Maya had walked away from it from her because she was scared too, because feeling something that deep, that fast, that completely, it felt like a risk she wasn't ready to take. But the truth was, she had already taken it. She was already in love with Celeste Morrow, and no amount of distance or silence or self-protection could change that. She stood abruptly, grabbed her keys, and ran out the door. She didn't call first, didn't text. She needed to look Celeste in the eye. She needed to say the things she should have said hours, maybe days ago. The penthouse door opened before she even knocked. Clara stood there surprised. I know, Maya said. Let me in. Clara stepped aside. Maya walked into the darkened penthouse, heart hammering. Celeste stood by the window, still in the same black suit from the interview, her back to the room, arms crossed tightly. She didn't turn around. You saw it. I did. I didn't plan to say all that. I know. Silence stretched between them, heavy and brittle. You were right, Maya said finally. About what? That falling in love is terrifying. Celeste turned slowly, her eyes tired, her expression unreadable. Are you saying you're in love with me? Maya stepped closer. I'm saying I never stood a chance. Celeste's eyes fluttered shut like those words physically struck her. I tried to control everything, she whispered. You, the story, the damage, but the one thing I couldn't control was how I felt every time. You looked at me like I was more than just power in a suit. Maya smiled faintly, eyes burning. You are more. You're the only person who ever made me feel like I wasn't disposable. You're not. Then stop treating me like a risk you have to manage and start treating me like a woman who's choosing you over everything. Celeste moved before Maya could finish the breath. Their bodies collided like magnets pulled too hard. Celeste's mouth crashed into hers. Not delicate, not soft, but desperate and raw and starved. Maya melted into it, hands gripping her jacket, gasping as Celeste's fingers tangled in her hair like she'd die if she let go. The kiss deepened, became a promise and a plea and an apology all at once. And when they finally pulled apart, foreheads pressed together, Maya whispered, "Don't ever do that without me again." I won't. No more interviews, no more decisions without me. You're right. I want to be in this. Really in it. So, do I? Celeste cooped her face gently, her thumbs brushing Maya's cheeks. Tell me you're staying. I'm staying tonight. Every night if you'll have me. Celeste kissed her again, slower this time, like sealing a contract written in skin and breath. They didn't talk after that, not with words. Their bodies spoke instead, tangled in silk sheets, in low gasps and quiet laughter, in the way Celeste held Maya like she had no intention of letting go. It wasn't performative. It wasn't calculated. It was real. And in the early hours of the morning, when Maya lay with her head on Celeste's chest, listening to her heartbeat, she finally said it aloud. I love you. Celeste froze for a second. Then she kissed the top of Maya's head and said, I think I loved you the moment you lied in that bar. Maya laughed against her skin. That was a terrible lie. No, Celeste murmured. That was the beginning of the only truth that ever mattered. The morning after should have been peaceful, and for a few rare hours it was. Maya woke up tangled in Celeste's arms, her body warm against silk sheets, her breath slow and steady against Maya's neck. There was no need to speak. They lay there in silence, the kind that felt like understanding, like two hearts finally beating in rhythm. Celeste's hand drifted lazily over Maya's back, fingertips tracing invisible circles as if memorizing her. Maya thought. This is real. This is ours. Until the knock. Loud. Repetitive. Urgent. Celeste was up in seconds, her body tense, expression hardening before Maya had even processed what was happening. She threw on a robe and went to the door. Clara stood there, face pale, phone in hand. You need to see this. Celeste took the phone and stared, her jaw clenched. Maya sat up in bed, the sheets clutched around her. What is it? Celeste didn't answer. She turned the phone so Maya could see. It was a news alert, a photo. Maya Hart, ex of tech mogul Logan Pierce, allegedly rebounds with billionaire CEO Celeste Morrow in calculated movie. The image was old. Maya and Logan at some tech party years ago, laughing. But below it, the article was venomous. Accusations of Maya being a social climber, an opportunist, someone who had manipulated the story of a fake engagement into a real power grab. Who released this? Maya asked, heart pounding. Clara hesitated. Logan. Of course he did, Celeste muttered. He's calling in every favor he's got. And it gets worse, Clara said, pulling up another article. This one had a photo taken from across the street of Maya and Celeste inside the penthouse kissing. It was blurry, invasive, taken without consent. The headline read, "More than business. Celeste Marlowe's fiancé caught an intimate moment, real or PR strategy." Maya's stomach dropped. Someone's watching us. We'll increase security, Celeste said immediately. I'll sue every media outlet that shared it. I'll bury them. That's not the point, Maya snapped, voice shaking. They're attacking my life, my past, my integrity. They're attacking us, Celeste corrected. Because they can't stand seeing someone like me fall for someone like you. What does that mean? It means you're not who they expected. You're not wealthy, not powerful. You don't fit the narrative. I never asked to be part of a narrative, Maya said, standing now. All I did was lie to get away from my ex, and now I'm the center of a damn media war, and I'm going to protect you by controlling everything again. Celeste's eyes flickered. By making sure they don't destroy you. You mean making sure they don't destroy you? The words came out sharper than Maya intended. Celeste flinched. Silence fell. Clara cleared her throat and slipped away, leaving them alone. I didn't mean, Maya began. Yes, you did. Celeste said quietly. And maybe you're right, Maya sighed. This is just a lot. I love you, but this constant exposure, this pressure to perform every second of the day, it's exhausting. Celeste stepped closer, her voice low. Then let's leave just for a few days. We'll disappear somewhere private. No phones, no headlines, just us. Maya looked at her, searching her face. You do that, walk away from everything for a little while. I'd burn it all down for you, Celeste said. And Maya knew in her gut. She meant it. They left that night. A private jet, a villa in the south of France. The world couldn't follow them there. No paparazzi, no phone calls, just crashing waves, warm sunsets, and each other. For 2 days, they were free. They swam at midnight, made love with the windows open, laughed until their stomachs hurt. Celeste cooked badly. Maya teased her mercilessly. They danced barefoot on the terrace. And for a moment, the illusion of safety was enough. But reality has sharp claws. On the third morning, Celeste stepped out onto the balcony to take a call she thought was private. Maya stayed inside, curled on the couch with coffee, until she heard a name that made her freeze. Ivy. Celeste's voice low. You weren't supposed to reach out. Not now. A pause, then sharper. Don't threaten me. This has nothing to do with you anymore. Silence. Then she doesn't know and she doesn't need to. Maya stood, heart in her throat. Celeste ended the call and turned to find Maya in the doorway. Who's Ivy? Maya asked. Celeste stiffened. No one you need to worry about. That's not your call. It's from before you. A mistake. One that's clearly not finished. It is, Celeste insisted. She's trying to stir things up. Jealous, vengeful. She knows exactly when to strike. And what exactly doesn't she want me to know? Celeste looked away. There were complications. We were together on and off. She didn't like being left, especially not for someone like you. Someone like me, Maya repeated, voice hollow. You mean someone who didn't grow up in mansions or fly private before breakfast? No, I mean someone real. Then why lie about her? Why hide it? Celeste's voice cracked. Because I knew you'd look at me differently. Maya took a step back. And you were right. Maya stood on the stone balcony. Ocean wind tugging at her dress, but all she could feel was heat, fury, betrayal, heartbreak colliding in her chest like a car crash in slow motion. Celeste stayed still by the sliding glass doors, arms folded, eyes unreadable for once. And Maya hated that. Hated that the woman she'd finally let in, finally trusted, was shutting her out again with the same cold silence that once made her irresistible and now made her unbearable. You lied to me, Maya said, voice shaking. By omission, by silence, by every time you looked at me and told me I was the only one, while Ivy was still somewhere in your shadows. She's not in my life anymore, Celeste replied. Controlled but softer than usual. But she's still a part of your past. A part you tried to erase like it wouldn't matter. But it does because I'm here now. And if you want to keep me, you don't get to pick which parts of yourself I get to see. Celeste stepped closer, her voice trembling beneath the surface. I was afraid of what? Of you looking at me like you are now, like you're ready to walk away. Maya didn't answer. She turned her back to the ocean, facing Celeste head on. Then why give her that power? Why let her be the one to ruin what we have instead of trusting me with the truth? Because I don't know how to do this, Celeste said, her voice cracking. I know how to run companies, close billion-dollar deals, manipulate headlines. But this, she gestured between them. This is not something I've ever known how to protect. You protect your image, Maya said bitterly. You protect your power, but when it comes to me, you hide. I was hiding for myself, Celeste said. And I didn't realize how much until you looked at me and made me feel like I was enough. Not as the CEO, not as the billionaire, but as a woman who has no clue what to do when someone loves her without agenda. Maya stared at her for a moment. The pain in her chest cracked open to make room for something else. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but understanding. So, what was Ivy to you? She asked more gently now. Celeste closed her eyes, inhaled slowly. She was comfortable, calculated. We fit on paper. Two powerful women, both ruthless, both careful. But it wasn't love. Not really. It was proximity and control. She hated when I started pulling away. And when she found out about you, she knew exactly where to hit me. My reputation, my fear, my guilt. And instead of telling me, you tried to manage it all behind the scenes. I thought I could contain it. You can't contain everything, Celeste. Maya stepped closer now, her voice low, raw. Especially not me. Celeste's shoulders dropped slightly, like those words hit something deep and real inside her. I know, and I'm sorry. Do you want me to leave? The question hung between them like a loaded gun. Celeste's eyes snapped to hers, panic flickering before she could hide it. No. Then give me the truth. All of it. From now on, no more PR moves. No more protection through control. Just you and me or nothing at all. Celeste stepped forward slowly like approaching a wild animal. You are the only thing in my life. I don't want to cure it. You're messy and brilliant and infuriating and real. I want that. I want you and I'll give you everything, Maya. Just please don't walk away. Maya searched her face, trying to read between the words to see if it was still a performance. But there was no mask left, no walls, just Celeste, the woman who had once played a part in a lie and was now begging to live the truth. Okay, Maya said finally. But if you ever shut me out again, I won't come back. I believe you. Good. And then Celeste pulled her in. Not like before, not desperate, not hungry, but grounded, present, certain. Their kiss was slow, deep, and laced with relief. When they pulled apart, Celeste whispered, "Do you still want forever with me?" Maya smirked against her lips. "Only if I get to be the one who proposes this time." Celeste laughed. Actually laughed. The sound raw and startled and so deeply human it nearly broke Maya's heart again. "Deal," she said. But just as they turned to walk back inside, Celeste's phone buzzed on the table. Maya picked it up without thinking. The screen showed a single sharp text message. Interview with Ivy airing tonight. Unedited. Maya looked up at Celeste, heart sinking. We're not done. Celeste took the phone, her jaw locking tight. She's going public. About us? For the first time since we met, Celeste said, steady at last, we fight back, together. Maya hugged her knees as the countdown began. Celeste stood behind her, jaw set. The logo flashed. Ivy appeared, perfect light, soft pastels, practiced ache. Thanks for having me, Ivy said. Truth matters when people are misled. You mean Celeste Marlowe's engagement? We were together nearly 2 years. She didn't leave for love. She found someone more useful. She told me Maya wasn't her type, just a soft image. Maya's neck prickled. Did you say that? No, Celeste said, then exhaled. At first, I did think you'd soften my edges. I was wrong. You're the dangerous one, the one I'd risk everything for. Ivy sighed. I still love her. She chose someone easier to manage. Celeste killed the TV. Silence pulsed. She's lying, she said, breaking. I didn't love her like I love you. That's what scares me, Maya whispered. Prove you choose me for who I am. Then let me prove it. Celeste kissed her, raw and real. A buzz, an investigation into their engagement and alleged market manipulation. They want to destroy you, Maya said. They want to destroy you, Celeste corrected. If this was a stunt, they'll blame you. Then let them come, Maya said, threading their fingers. I'm not running. Headlines turned hostile. In a conference room, lawyers urged a reframing. End the engagement. Contain damage. You want me to throw her under the bus? Celeste snapped. Do it, Maya said. Let me speak alone. That night, before a packed room, Maya said, the truth, I lied in a bar to escape an ex. Celeste said, she's mine. The game ended when we meant it. Don't question her heart. If you need blame, blame me. Applause. They returned to a ransacked penthouse. Across the mirror, in red paint, she's not worth it, I'm calling the police, Celeste said. Not yet. We expose them first. Ivy? Logan? They traced markers and leaked footage and money trails. The face was Ivy's. The machine was Logan's. He'd bankrolled placements, hacks, and hate. Next day, they stood together. We lied at the start, Celeste said, but stayed in love by choice. Maya added, this isn't strategy. It's the messiest, truest thing I know. They presented evidence. Arrests followed. Ivy vanished out a month later. Dawn softened Celeste's office. Maya, barefoot in one of her shirts, scrolled through messages from strangers who saw her differently. Celeste slipped in behind her. Some comments are kind. And the others? I don't care, Maya said. They don't know me. You do. And I love what I know. Say it again. I love you. Every version, even the one who lied. Later, beneath the city, they curled together on the rooftop. What now? Now we stop pretending and live together. Maya set a box in Celeste's palm, a simple gold ring engraved inside. You said she's mine. You're proposing? We're ready. This time, we do it right. Yes, Celeste breathed. Every time, I choose you.